Welcome to Eagle Time, the student-run podcast dedicated to diving deep into the pressing issues within our school community.
It's Eagle Time.
Eagle Time. It's Eagle Time. Eagle Time. It's Eagle Time. Eagle Time. It's time for Eagles to really shine. It's Eagle Time. It's Eagle Time. You know what time it is? It's Eagle Time. It's Eagle Time. It's Eagle Time. Time for Eagles to really shine. It's Eagle Time. It's Eagle Time.
Welcome back to our podcast. I'm Audrey, this is Jocelyn, and you're watching Eagle Time. Today's episode is all about our feelings about going back to school, whether we like it or not. Now, we have a lot to discuss, so let's start getting in our feels and prepare to learn some things with the hosts and two special co-hosts as we share our thoughts and insights on this topic.
Audrey and I would be with Mr. Trujillo later. And even later, we'll be interviewing Mr. Vargas to discuss how he feels about being back to school after a very short summer vacation. I mean, time flies, right?
The main idea of getting back to school is to discuss the feelings and experiences of returning to school after a break, including topics such as adjusting to school routines, embracing learning, and addressing safety and security measures within school boundaries.
Returning to school after a break can be a challenging transition, but also an opportunity for growth and learning. Embracing the school routine and adjusting to the new schedules can set the tone for a successful academic journey. It's a chance to re-engage with education, contact with friends, and explore new opportunities. Let's approach this with a positive mindset and willingness to embrace the joy of learning.
As our first special guest, we have Mr. Black here. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you guys for having me here. I'm honored.
All right, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, you know. It's my last week, so I'm pretty bittersweet feelings, but overall excited. So,
How do you feel to be on the podcast today?
like I said, I feel honored. You know, I was blessed to be on last year. I feel cool that you guys brought me back on again. So I'm excited. Happy for you guys. I like your work. So
I have a question. Can you do a backflip?
can I do a backflip?
Yes.
In a pool? Jumping into a pool? Nah, yeah, I'm not like that, fortunately. But I appreciate you for the confidence.
Can you do a backflip and then turn into an eagle?
You know, if I could, man, you would probably see me doing big things. But I can't do it.
Would you want to?
Yeah, why not? Who wouldn't want to become eagle?
Since are you leaving on the 30th or?
Yes, so September 30th, which is on next Monday, will be my official last day. Mhm.
So today is the 24th, so we have you have like 4 days if you don't include the weekends.
Correct.
Okay. How are you gonna spend these last 4 days here?
Well, you know, these last 4 days, I'm going to spend trying to spend as much time with the students as I can. We'll have practice for volleyball, and I'm also going to be speaking at our live club one last time. So that would be exciting. And then just trying to soak up all the memories so that I can. He's looking forward to this.
Are you sad that you're gonna leave?
Yeah, it's bittersweet, especially for you guys are eighth graders. So I came here when the eighth graders were in sixth grade. So you guys were the first class that I've seen grow up. So I thought I was going to be able to see you guys graduate, but that's just not the way
Oh,
things
that's
turned out.
sad.
So, but yeah, sometimes that's how life works. You know, you can't control everything. Just have to kind of go with the flow.
So you have a strong connection with the 8th graders?
I do. Yeah, they're my favorite class. No offense, seventh and sixth graders. You guys are cool, but eighth graders, those are my guys.
So out of your few years of coaching the sports, which one was your favorite?
Basketball for sure. You guys want to know why?
Yes.
Well, because I played basketball growing up. I played in high school, I played in college, and I feel like I had a better connection with the players since I did play, and the fact that we were able to go to the championship game, we lost, but that was my favorite sport coaching. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. So you said you said that you wanted to see the eighth graders graduate?
I would have liked to, yes, because you guys would have been the first. Like I saw you guys as sixth graders, so it would have been cool to, see you guys come into school, but also leave. But I won't be able to, unfortunately.
So,
Probably.
I heard from one of the volleyball players that you're gonna be a pastor at a high school. Is that true?
Yeah, so a lot of people be getting it confused. So I will become a pastor, but I'll be working at a church, not at a school. And my position in the church, I'll be leading high school students. So the ministry that I'll be focusing on is, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th graders. Yeah.
And what church are you gonna be pastor at?
A church up in Fresno called New Covenant Community Church. It's a decent sized church. Has about 500 members in total. And in my high school ministry, I'll be overseeing about 60 to 80 students. Yeah.
Since oh, my bad. You can go first. Since you wanted to see us graduate, do you think you'll still go to the graduation or like visit the school sometimes?
It definitely depends on my schedule because if you guys don't know, Fresno is about 4 hours away from the Inland Empire. So it's not like it just, an hour trip. Depending on holidays or, my work schedule with the church, I might be able to potentially come by, but I don't make any promises because since it's my first year working, I won't be able to take like too much time off. But like in an emergency, I could get down here in 4 hours. It just depends on if I want to make that drive or not. So we'll see. I won't make any promises, but maybe I'll surprise you guys. Who knows?
Okay, Mr. Black, the people want to know. Do you have a favorite person or like favorite volleyball player?
No.
No.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Man, a favorite? No, I can't. I don't have any. They're all my favorite. There's yeah, I like all my players the same. Do I connect with some players more than others? For sure, but I don't want to say I have a favorite because that's not fair to the yeah.
Who's the best in your volleyball team?
For which one, boys or girls?
For like overall in general.
Overall, the best player, I might have to say Mason Sanchez. He's probably the best. He's been playing since he was in sixth grade. He does a lot for us, and yeah, he probably has a pretty good future if he keeps working hard. Yeah.
You coached last year, right?
For volleyball,
No, like any sport.
yeah, I coached boys volleyball, boys basketball, and I helped out with softball.
Did subbing for Miss Marie's class like the whole year interfere with you coaching?
I would say yes and no. It benefited me in ways where I had my own schedule for teaching. So sometimes if I kind of wanted to focus more on coaching, I would kind of give an assignment that was more independent so I could, focus on like plays and whatnot. And then I could also use my classroom for like team meetings. But there were times where, maybe I couldn't set up early enough for practice because I was in the class all day. So or sometimes players couldn't come to my class for whatever reason. But I said it helped me more than it didn't. Well, I actually did that. And then there was moments where if I had to spend time like planning and prepping for like school, I couldn't really do that for coaching as well. So it was kind of like, trying to balance my time. So it was like good and then bad at the same time.
Do you have a favorite class?
Did I have a favorite class last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not afraid to say that. 'Cause I tell everybody. My favorite class was my period 5 and 6 class. So if you was in that class, you know who you are. If you weren't, sucks. It sucks.
What was your worst class?
Oh, 1 and 2.
Recent is
Period 1 and 2 easily. I'm not gonna say nobody on the podcast was in it. I'm not gonna say that. But they had so much potential, but I just felt like they lost their why and why they wanted to be great, why they wanted to be, and then they kind of just sometimes didn't care. But it was between them and 3 and 4. And 3 and 4 definitely like came a long way. And then 1 and 2 tried to come back towards the end of the semester, but it was just kind of too. And I think they knew that and they stopped caring.
Well,
I still love them though.
I can't speak. I totally can't speak from personal experience, but maybe the 1 and 2 class got senioritis through like in the middle to the start of the year.
Getting senioritis in 7th grade is a problem.
Um,
You have a long way to go.
I'm-
For senioritis is when you just have this mentality of you're just over school already, like because graduation is around the corner, but you only get senioritis as a senior or 8th grade. You're supposed to. If you get it in the first semester of 7th grade, then that's a problem. That's a problem.
well, we not speaking from experience.
Right.
Yeah.
Not speaking
speaking
from
from
experience. Right. This
but-
is just all hypothetical.
I know that a lot of people in the 1 and 2 class were around a lot of people that didn't really help them lock in.
Sure. It's very true. Sometimes you can't control who's in your class. Sometimes you're gonna have bright students next to you, and sometimes you're gonna have students that want to see you fail. Maybe not intentionally, but the way they're acting. So that's just life. Sometimes you just have to focus in, whether that's asking the teacher to move you or, just ignoring the distractions and focusing on the goal at hand. Because at the end of the day, it's your grade, it's your assignments, it's, your future, really. That's life right there.
Who were like the biggest? Who were like the biggest goofballs in your class?
I'm not going to say who the goofballs were, but they know who they were. They know. I ain't got to say their names. They're probably going to listen. Let's say, "Ooh, he's talking about me."
What made you want to leave RPA and become a pastor?
That's a really good question, Matt. So I did not go to. Some people know this, but I didn't go to school, to become a teacher. I went to school to essentially work in ministry and hopefully become a pastor if the door opened up. But sometimes things don't happen on your time, so you just have to be patient. And I always told myself I would stay at RPA as long as I could until another opportunity happened that was better for me and my family, and also something that I felt like was my purpose. And this opportunity opened itself up in the summer, and it was like a long process. And then that was the decision. So if I didn't have this opportunity, I probably would still be here, unless, like I said, the door opened up. So.
Will you ever become a sub again after you leave?
Now that I have the experience and it's on my resume, I could sub part-time, depending on my schedule. Now, I don't know if I'm living in Fresno, I'm not going to be able to drive down to San Bernardino and sub. But if there's some schools, in the Fresno area that I can probably sub for a couple of days, depending on my work schedule, if I want to. So yeah.
Since you're going to be leaving so soon, instead of focusing on all the reasons why you wanted to leave being a sub, why don't we focus on like your favorite parts?
Okay.
So what were some of your favorite parts about subbing?
Man, being a sub is really cool because you get to not have the pressure of being like a teacher. Being a teacher is really hard, and it's something that's usually underappreciated. So that's why I hope all of you guys and who's listening, please, if you see your teacher, say thank you, because they put in a lot of work to help you guys be as successful as possible. Subs come in and we kind of get sometimes a fun job, and sometimes we have to kind of like be the teacher for the day. But just being able to have the relationships with you guys, kind of being like, a lot of people say, "Oh, Mr. Black, you're the." I'm not intentionally trying to be the cool sub. I'm just really being myself while also still trying to set those professional boundaries. Because sometimes kids think we're too cool, and I tell them, "Hey, remember, I'm not your friend." As much as like I'm your sub, I'm the teacher before I'm your friend. I'm not saying we can't be friends, but there's levels to it. So sometimes, and I've had that in the past where kids just share stuff with me or do stuff around me where I'm like, who do you think you are? Because we're not that cool for you to think you can do that. So that's kind of a bum part, but it's good that I'm glad that students do feel comfortable around me in that sense. So I like that. And then, Yeah, just the schedule. I like the schedule. It's a really good schedule. Pretty chill. Yeah.
Okay, one question, Mr. Black. Out of all the classes you subbed, which one did you like the best?
Are you talking about this year or last year?
Like,
Because that's
okay,
a big question. But
Yeah.
I can probably which one talking about?
I would say last year.
Last year, I liked subbing for excuse me. I liked subbing for Miss Tejada's class. She has a really good structure in her class. I like something for Trujillo. He also has a good structure. Um, I like something for Autry as well. Autry's always cool. Shout out to him, shameless plug. Um, and then definitely the teachers that like those, if you know, those are all like English history teachers. I hate someone for math. I love all the math teachers. I love them all. But if you guys know me, Mr. Black is not a math whiz. So I always feel bad someone for math because I'm like, I can help you a little bit, but if I can't explain it, then I'm just like, you have to wait for a teacher to come back. For those are three. Miss Smith, her class was always cool. Um, and I can't think of any. Like I said, yeah, it's all right.
What about this year?
This year, definitely Autry's up there. Trujillo's up there. Tejada's up there again. I haven't had Smith this year. I've only been in a few classes actually, like the same teachers. Yeah, Villarreal was cool. Miss Villarreal, her classes are okay this year. And I think that's it. I can't think of somebody. So I guess if you notice, they're all like English classes. Miss Shanti was actually cool. I subbed for math teacher, Miss Shanti's class. That was cool. Like I can that. I understood that a little bit.
Mm.
What's your salary gonna be when you go become a pastor?
Man, I'm not gonna say all that, but just know I will be making about $15,000 to $20,000 more than I'm making now. So it's if you don't pay bills, that's a nice little pay raise.
If you didn't have to be a sub last year, would you have became a pastor sooner?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because I graduated from my master's degree in 2023. So when I did that, that kind of like, I start putting myself on the market to make myself available for certain churches, but it wasn't happening. So I mean, yeah, if it would have happened, oh for sure, I would have. That's why I've always told people here, like I would stay at RPA until I can't no more. Which whether that's financially or they need to make more money or just a better opportunity for me, which this is a better opportunity for me, maybe not for nobody else, but for me and my family, it's the best decision that we could probably make right now.
I know that a lot of times people would bring in different baked things. How did you feel? Was that a really good plus side of working there?
You said people brought in fake stuff?
No, sorry, not fake stuff. Food. Baked goods.
Oh, like students.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was cool, man. Definitely. Shout out to Scarlett. She's a little baker. She made me brownies, cookies before. I think Havana has made me some cookies before, and other people like Natalia, they brought me snacks. A lot of people have. Like I said, if I didn't say your name, I apologize, but you know who you are. Yeah, that lets you know that you're appreciated because sometimes I feel like I don't deserve that kind of stuff, because sometimes I just feel like I'm just being myself. But I guess I still, all glory to God, inspire or make kids feel like that. So, that's cool that they feel that way.
Are you gonna miss RPA?
Will I miss RPA? I will miss RPA. Like I said, this is probably I've subbed at other schools in the San Bernardino School District. I won't say their names for respect, but I can say RPA is definitely the best middle school in our district, despite what anybody says. So the fact that I'm leaving you guys and how much you guys are gonna miss it. I'm hearing everyone say they're gonna miss me and everything, and that just makes it more bittersweet. Like I'm so excited, but I'm also like, dang, I'm gonna miss hanging out with you guys and hearing all your cheese and all your problems that I feel like I tell you the answer to you, but you still don't listen. So it's just whatever. But yeah, I miss all the teachers, the staff, the culture, sports, everybody. Yeah.
This is the end of our discussion with Mr. Black. Thank you for joining us. You will be missed, and thank you for coming on Equal Time.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. I love you guys. I miss you guys. If you want to remember anything I say, just always lock in. That's it. What I got.
Of course, what I gotta say is always keep smiling.
Welcome back to our podcast. I'm Audrey, this is Eddie, and you're watching Eagle Time. Today's episode is about our feelings about returning to school, whether we like it or not. Now, we have a lot to discuss, so let's start getting in our feels and prepare to learn some things with the hosts and two special co-hosts as we share our thoughts and insights on this topic.
Audrey and I are with Mr. Trujillo, and later we will interview Mr. Vargas to discuss how he feels about returning to school after a very short summer vacation. I mean, time flies, right?
The main idea of returning to school is to discuss the feelings and experiences of returning after a break, including topics such as adjusting to school routines, embracing learning, and addressing safety and security measures within school boundaries.
Returning to school after a break can be a challenging transition and an opportunity for growth and learning. Embracing the school routine and adjusting to new schedules can set the tone for a successful academic journey. It's a chance to re-engage with education, connect with friends, and explore new opportunities. Let's approach this with a positive mindset and a willingness to embrace the joy of learning.
Our second guest on this episode is going to be Mr. Trujillo, who was on our first ever episode. Welcome to the podcast, Mr. Trujillo.
Hey, good to be back. Thank you.
So, as I was saying, you were on the first podcast last year and the first podcast this year. How do you feel about that?
I feel special. I always like coming on these podcasts. I like this whole setup. I think I dropped the ball last time. I think I took it like way too serious and I got camera shy. And, I was very serious. But now I'm more relaxed. I know what to expect. I'm not as tense. And hopefully we'll have a good time.
That's also what was happening with our hosts. The first clip we were recording and during the practices.
How do you feel about the new start of the school year? What are you looking forward the most?
So the start of the school year, how do I feel about that? It's always an interesting time. I get a new group of students, like I'm a 6th grade teacher. I got to train them. So they come in all scared, and I'm real strict at the beginning and they know that. But once they kind of get the flow of things, I kind of relax a little bit. But I'm excited. I always like having new students. I like seeing my old students. I think it's always positive. I try to, this year I'm taking on a bunch of other school-wide activities, and I just want to make RPA like the best place that we can make.
Well, I know that the 6th graders, they just came out of 5th grade, so they're still in the elementary school mindset. What are some things you do to help them go into the more mature middle school mindset?
I yell a lot. I scream a lot. I throw things across my classroom. Just kidding. No, I don't. I really scaffold like the teaching, and I really do like the expectations. I mean, you guys remember in 6th grade, like it's all about the routines. And I always tell you guys, there's a right way to do things, there's a wrong way to do things, and there's the Trujillo's way to do things, right? I want you to do it the Trujillo way because that's what I want in my class. And I know the big adjustment from 5th grade to 6th. You have 5th grade kids, you little babies, and they only have one teacher to please. But then they come to 6th grade, and now they have like, 5, 6 bunch of teachers to please. So they have to pick up that personality, the different personalities, what pleases this person, what pleases that person. And I just try to be clear with the expectations and what do I want and how are you going to meet that? I just want to be clear.
So, do you have any wise words for probably 6th graders watching this right now?
Ooh. So my phrase, one of my popular phrases is get your life together. So 6th graders, you guys come in and you're so unorganized and you're basically the homo habilises of this community. I mean, I taught you guys that, right? Like you just have no clue in the world. Where do I turn my paper in? where do I write my name? Oh, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Like you have absolutely no clue. So my wise words would be like, get your life together. Organize your life, structure your life, put some time aside to really focus on what you need to do, set goals, and build your arc.
That's pretty interesting.
Yes.
Is that Trujilloism?
That's a Trujilloism. Build your arc. Get your life together.
How long has that quote stay with you?
Oh,
Keep your life together.
about 100 years. I'm about 101 years old now, and it's been with me about 100 years.
Or do you think it's older than the Neanderthals?
Ooh, yes. No.
Maybe
Yes.
maybe
Maybe. I
the
don't
great grandpa has been saying that.
No, I made it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe they like said it just in different ways, like
Mm.
how things have changed over the years. Like, in sixth grade, and then seventh for the sixth graders, your new batch of sixth graders that are now seventh, then the old ones, the really old ones that are now eight. All of those are just really different bunches of kids, and I know that there's a lot of different adjustments you have to make just to keep them just well organized and structured. But what are some things that just throughout the many years have stuck with you and that you maintain telling all your students?
Telling all my students, really, I want what's best for my students, right? And it's not always at that moment in time, right? Because they might not understand, but it's later on in time and something it might click. What I really want them to do is think. Think whether it has to do with academics, think whether it has to do with a life choice. Just think, and is this the best, I don't know, situation is this the best I can do, whether it's work, right? Is this the best work I can do? I don't know. Self-reflect is basically what I'm trying to say, right? I think self-reflecting is one of the biggest skills that you can use because you can take that and that's going to follow you the rest of your life.
So like motivating yourself.
Yeah, motivating yourself, right? Like, is this the best work that I could do? Or was that the best, were those the best words I could say? Like, I don't know, maybe you get an argument with your mom or something like that. And, you get all mad sometimes. You might say something that you don't mean, right? And maybe you reflect when you're in your room all mad and you reflect like, was I being the best person that I could be? Were those the best words that I could say, right? Because I think a lot changed in COVID when that COVID era happened and I got really sick and I almost died, right? So I think looking at that aspect when I was laying there and I'm like, oh, like I'm dying, like this is it, right? Was I the best version of me up until that point? Whether it was an interaction with my wife, whether it was an interaction with my kids, whether it was an interaction with my students, was I being the best person or the best version of myself that I could be?
So that was like a life-changing experience.
It was a life-changing experience for me. So now I carry that on, but I also want to give that to you, right? And it might seem like I'm nagging at you or like I'm on your case all the time or, I'm just breathing down your neck, right? That's not the case. It's the case that I want you to really understand that you have a version of yourself that you can be. And once you reach that version, right, whether it's right here, whatever it is, once you reach it, you can keep going, right? So here you are, you've reached this version. Now I know that you can be this high, right? So you can never, ever be this low. You know what I'm saying? Like the expectation, and this comes back to the expectations, is that now the expectation's here. You're set here. But now what happens if I push you a little further? Then it's here. And then it's here. And sometimes you might come back here, but I know that you'll always be able to come back up here.
Wow.
Does that answer your question?
Very motivational.
Yeah.
Build up on your
I
bed.
told you I'd do better this time.
Well, personally, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I watched other podcasts, but I did not take time to watch the first one, so I wouldn't really know.
Good. Don't watch it.
Like what podcasts? Like the popular ones or like the ones
Joe
that's
Rogan?
stuck in the middle?
I think she means the one that I was in
Oh.
for this
Yeah.
this one. And I just
Yeah, like Joe Rogan.
So, like, as the president of the Mecha Club, how do you feel about like having like one of the best clubs in our school?
it's not about being the best club. It's really about are my students getting something from it? And I think what happened yesterday when we invited Sanjeev's Mecha Club over, and to see so many former RPA students, like that made me happy, right? That shows that we're doing something special here, not just me, but as a school, we're facilitating leaders, right? And they go in, and Juan was the president, or he is the president of Mecha Club for Sanji, and he was one of the students. He was one of my former students, and there's a handful of it. And that's just, if it's good for kids, and it's not about being the best. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about, are you taking something with you when you leave? That's what I'm worried about.
So, can you explain, like, to the people that don't know what the Mecha Club is? Can you, like, explain to them, like, what is it about? Like, what are the things we learn about in the Mecha Club? What are, like, the activities we do and all that stuff?
Well, Mecha Club it's a club. It's an after-school club. And no, you don't have to be Mexican to join or participate. It's open up for anybody. But we're looking at the cultural aspect of Chicano, right? Which is a term, and you can get into, if you want to learn more, you come join my Mecha Club. But the Chicano term, why it was created and why it's important to have these clubs here on campus. And our speaker, we had a speaker yesterday from Valley College, and I think they did very well at explaining what their importance is and why it's necessary to have representation of students on campuses, whether it's the middle school campus, whether it's the high school campus, or whether it's the college campus. It's about representation of students.
So, one question that I've been wondering about a lot and couldn't have, like, told you, why did you make them, like, why did you decide to, like, make the Mecha Club a thing in our school?
Well, if you look at, so I went and got my admin credential, right? And my admin credential, one of the first parts of it was to look at school data, school site data, right? And I thought it was super boring. I was like, I'm never going to need this. Like, why do I need to do this? This sucks. I hate it, right? But as I started looking at data, and I was like, oh, wow, I didn't know that. Oh, look at this. This is we have 95, I think it is, or no, I could be lying. It's like 90-something% Hispanic population here at the school, right? Long story short, there's a high percentage of Hispanic students here, or Hispanic background, right? And what are we doing to inform them about themselves, right? Because there's no curriculum that talks about Mexican history, right? There's no curriculum that requires you talking about Chicano history, right? There's nothing. It is what it is. It's been established forever. And I was like, no, I think these kids, they want to learn about themselves and know who they are historically. So I brought up this, well, that's why I started ethnic studies. But then I took it further because I wanted to extend it. And it was like, okay, well, Mecha Club. Let's look at Mecha Club. And let's have these students learn about themselves, about who they are. But not only that, because like I said, you don't have to be Mexican to be part of it, but you shouldn't have to be Mexican to want to learn about Mexican culture, if that makes sense, right? Because it's encompassed around us. We're in San Bernardino. It's predominantly Hispanic, Mexican, right? We're engulfed in it, right? We live it. We're Southern California if we want to look even wider, right? And we got to learn about ourselves. That way we can push forward. Because I think Malcolm X said, if you know who you are, then nobody can tell you who you are. You can go ahead and sit on that one right there, Eduardo. Sit on that.
Yeah, that's a good quote.
Malcolm X.
Oh my gosh. How important is it for teachers such as you to establish strong bonds with new students, successfully from them transitioning to 5th to 6th grade?
I think more than academics, yeah, relationships matter. Establishing these strong bonds. And that wasn't like my goal in the beginning when I first started teaching, but it just came naturally, right? It's just that, I don't know, I treat you guys like my own kids, right? Like, I have high expectations for all of you, but I don't, when I started looking into it and really, understanding what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, and why I'm doing it, right? The intentionality behind it, I understood that I had an advantage over other teachers that don't establish the relationships. And it was something simple as one time this kid told me, wow, Mr. Trujillo, like the other teachers don't ever ask how my weekend was, or the other teachers don't ever allow me to tell you about my weekend, or they never ask questions about me. It's always, content. And then I was like, oh, I don't know. Like, cause I thought what that person was doing, cause he was telling me that he went on what are those bikes called? Those, I'm
Tricycle?
drawing a blank. Not tricycles. It's not clown school. No, not unicycles.
Motorbikes?
Electric bikes?
No, the
Dirt bikes?
the dirt bikes, right? He was dirt bike riding. And I was like, oh, like, tell me about it. Like, I want to know. And we just had that conversation. That's when he told me like, oh, wow, like no teacher has ever asked, what I did over the weekend. And I just started realizing that when you establish these relationships, I don't have the behavior problems that some of the other teachers were having. Why? I guess it was because I cared. Even though I, pretend I don't care, you guys can see right through me and it's like, oh yeah, he cares. And I just think relationships is the foundation to just about everything else, right? Because if we don't have an understanding of this is how you're going to act, but this is how I'm going to act as well, right? Like a relationship, I think everything else falls apart, right? Because then there's no clarity. There's no understanding of each other.
Get to really see you as like more as a person rather than just a teacher.
Right. Because I can just go and, open your books to page 34 and read this, right? But no, I want to interact. I mean, we're with each other for 187 days, 186 days, 5 days a week, 7 hours a day. But I see you guys for about 1 hour a day, right? That's 5 hours a week. We're stuck with each other, whether we like each other or not. So we might as well get to know each other and kind of like each other. Like, we're not always going to like each other, but at least the respect is there that, you know what, I like you as a person, maybe not as a student, Eduardo. Oh, wait, no, you were a great student. Huh?
Okay. So, like, what challenges do you think, like, you're going to have to be waiting for as the sixth graders, they're still transitioning? What challenges do you think you're going to have with them?
I think the challenges will start opening up in November when the little behaviors start to come undone. Because like right now, what are we in, October?
Yeah.
October, the honeymoon is over, I guess they say, right? They start showing their true colors. And as they push back, I have to push them back in place, right? Because I've already established the expectations. This is what I expect all year. It's not just September. It's not just August. Like, these are my expectations all year. You got to meet those expectations. They're going to get a little unruly. They're going to want to push back. They're going to want to talk when I'm talking or whatever it is. So I have to push them back into their place so we can, again, be peaceful for the next, 100 days or whatever it is that we have left.
Make sure they're not getting too comfortable.
Yeah, because this principal told me one time when I first started teaching that the behavior reflects the academics and the academics reflects the behavior. So if you're acting out in class being a fool, chances are you're not doing your work and your grade is low, right? But if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing and you're acting accordingly, then your grade is probably reflecting that. And then, you can talk to your friends and see which ones are knuckleheads and, hey, what's your grade in that class? Oh, I'm not passing. Oh, wow.
So, like, why did you decide to start teaching?
Why did I start teaching? Well, it ties into Mecha, so that's a good question. I didn't know what I wanted to be when I was younger. I knew I wanted to go to the military, but my dad was like, no. He goes, how about you go to school first? Take a couple courses, see what you like, and go from there. So I did that, and I was like, whatever, like, I don't care. And then I was at Valley College, and I took a Chicano history course. And that was with the professor, Ed Gomez. And I didn't know, I just signed up, right? And there might've been a girl in there that I was, that I liked. And I was like, oh, let's take a class together, right? One of those things. You'll understand when you get older tomorrow. But could have been one of those. So I get there and he totally blew my mind. Like, he showed me that Mexicans had a history here in the United States. And up until that point, I really didn't know that. I really didn't care. And he showed me that you have a place here in the United States historically. but you also have a place in its future, right? So I took that course. You're just going to drink that all throughout the podcast? Like, you're just going to gulp that down? Like, that's not distracting?
It's hot.
Yeah, it's hot. I'm hot too, but yeah, cut that one out, right? Anyways, so I took that Chicano history course, right? I learned so much from it. And from that point on, I became infatuated with history. I was like, well, what else can I learn? And what else can I learn? And what else wasn't I told in high school? And what else wasn't I told in middle school? And I was like, oh no. And I had like this thirst for knowledge. Like I just wanted to learn anything. And I started taking different courses like chemistry. I took physics. And if I wasn't a history teacher, I probably would have been a physics teacher because physics is probably my second favorite subject. And it was amazing. The teachers were amazing. It was like once I took that physics course, everything just made sense to me. I was like, oh, that's how chemistry works. And oh, that's how math works. And I was able to see it and visualize it. And it was really cool.
So like if you didn't become like
I would have been a physics teacher. Actually, if I wouldn't become a teacher, I would have been a cop.
Oh.
if you like weren't if you didn't decide in like history, you would have like been a different Trujillo.
Yeah, I would have been a different Trujillo. I would have been, in the multiverse or whatever. Like, I don't know. Who knows what I would have been? I don't know. But history saved my life. Let's put it that way.
So I see in your classroom they have like your students make a bunch of SpongeBob things for you. I was just wondering, what's your favorite SpongeBob character?
Squidward.
But why Squidward?
Because he and I can relate. Like I'm sometimes a miserable, grumpy squid, right? And why? Well, because I have a bunch of SpongeBob and Patricks running around on my campus, blowing bubbles, acting a fool. And I'm like the Squidward. I have to, be on the opposite side of that to keep all you guys in line, right? It's all about balance, right? You guys are running around happy-go-lucky, and I have to be the old squid to say, stop it, SpongeBob, stop it, Squidward, or no, Patrick. Make sure you edit that out. You better
Gotta
edit
put
it
like a
out.
sensor on your mouth.
But what was the question? Squidward? Yeah, Squidward. And specifically handsome Squidward, because I consider myself a very handsome squid. So, yeah. When he hits his face and he just gets more handsome and more handsome, I think as I age, I get better and better looking.
Speaking of your classroom decorations, I noticed there's a lot of different sports teams and Kanye West. And would you say like having things that you like in your classroom just like help you like want to go inside your classroom and teach more?
Yeah, it's not really about that. I mean, it makes it a comfortable environment, but again, I'm very student centered and I do it for you guys, right? You're not going to be able to ask me 100 questions all the time, right? Because we got learning to do. And I want my classroom to reflect my personality. So when you see something like Kanye West, or you see, I don't know, a Lakers thing on there or a Cowboys thing on there, it's to build relationships. So it goes back to what you're talking about. It's to build relationships because they in turn become conversation pieces. Because they'll be like, oh, I don't like the Lakers. Okay, cool. What team do you like? Right? That right there. What team do you like? Oh, I don't know, the Grizzlies or something like that. Oh yeah, Ja Morant's cool, right? You just go and you build off of that, and now you have a connection with each other. So when, I don't know, you're acting up, I can call you out, right? But it's not always negative because I can talk to you in a positive light. And if I've had those positive interactions with you, disciplining you or recorrecting you becomes easier for me because we have that relationship. Why? Because I had those conversation pieces up there. So it's all with intention.
Very interesting.
Yes.
As for the like connections thing, do you think that being able to have a connection with your students would make them actually want to go to your class rather than like rather than a teacher they don't have a connection with?
Yeah, I think 100%. And that's why I think I came in third place for that attendance incentive that we were running. And that's a little disappointing, but that just goes to show you. I came in the entire school, I came in third place. I wish it was first, but it is what it is.
Third place is still good.
Yeah, it's okay.
Out of the entire classes,
Yeah.
that there's a bunch.
Yeah. And I have, my tardies are very low. I do want to get kids here. I want them to come into my class. I want them there. I want them to want to be there. And that's why sometimes I'll be wilding out or I'll be saying some things that are off the wall. It's to entertain you guys. It's to really just make you laugh or, make you think, whatever it is. It's all for you guys.
So, speaking of your students, have you run any problems with your students recently or this year so far?
No, there was, I think the 6th grader, he wears a hat backwards. He wears sunglasses. I think I caught him on a game once. Had to redirect him, but ever since then, I think he's been fine. Kind of looks like Basilio.
I wonder who that is.
Oh, hey, Basilio. See you there.
I remember in 6th grade, before I actually, don't bring up how I was in 6th grade, but before I actually started talking to you as a person, I'm gonna be honest with you, I really didn't look forward to the class until we actually made somewhat of a connection.
Yeah. And that happens all the time. Kids do not like me from probably September to about maybe November-ish. But that's all because October is the hardest month. October is the hardest month to get through. There's no days off, but we have that break, but that's for another day. That's on purpose, just so you guys know. You know this break that we have coming up? That's because of data throughout San Bernardino Unified School District. They saw the suspension rates always climbing around this time. So they gave the 2 days off to kind of just suppress some of those, those emotions, right? Because the teachers are fed up. They haven't had a break. They're tired. Students are fed up. They don't have a break. They're tired, right? They're all just tired, right? This is really the lowest point of the school year. So that's why we have the 2 days to get a rest. But this year we had that fire that was going on. So we had those couple of days off. So it's a lot smoother.
As for days off, as you can see, we have some decorations here. But would you think, there's usually not a lot of kids at school the day after Halloween. I feel like the only kids that are there are the people that either don't celebrate Halloween or the ones that parents make them come. How do you think you would be able to get more kids to actually show up the day after Halloween? Because I know a lot of people are tired after trick-or-treating.
Oh, that's easy. That's an easy fix. It's the same as a Super Bowl fix. You know what they did with the Super Bowl, right? They moved it to where it was on a Monday that we already have off because it's the most called off day in the work day or whatever it is. It's the most called off day. So what they did was they put it on a holiday or the day it's on a Sunday. It's the day before a Monday off, right? So to counteract that, to answer your question, it would be move it to the last Friday of October. And then we have so move it to the last Friday of October. We have Saturday off. There you go. Boom. Should I run for president now?
Yeah.
I'll run for president.
Well,
That'll be my whole basis.
So, I've heard on the announcements about something called a trunk or treat.
Uh-huh.
Can you tell me more about that? Because I'm just kind of confused.
Nice. Good question. So trunk or treat, that is our way of establishing some type of community amongst the school, right? Because if you think about it, we don't really do much as a community of school, right? It's always show up, do your work, listen to your teacher, get dressed for PE, right? But
usually the only things we do is the dances or the clubs, but that's rarely.
Exactly, right?
Also the potlucks.
Yeah.
Right. So what I want to do is celebrate you guys as a community, right? With your families, with your little brothers and sisters and whatever it is. I want to do a trunk or treat to where you can come and you can talk to us, not in a classroom setting. That's more of like a relaxed setting. And we can talk with your mom, we can talk to your dad, we can talk with whomever, just say hi, even if it's just saying hi, right? Now, maybe somebody that didn't come to, open house, right? Now we have an interaction. And it doesn't have to be, you know, a lot of times we call your parents in, it's for something that you messed up on, right? It's either a behavior or it's academic or whatever it is. And I think we should be engaging with your parents or your families in more than just a negative light. You know what I mean? It should be positive, it should be fun, it should be light. Like, oh, hey, you know, Eduardo, oh yeah, you know, he talks a little too much in class, but he's a good student, right? You just throw that out there and then your mom's going to give you that look and you're going to be like,
Yeah.
really?
And I feel like personally, if I was a parent, I would want to have more of a connection with my kids as teachers. And I feel like that could make a lot more parents feel a lot better and more comfortable about sending, let's say, like their sixth graders off to a new school.
Especially since we don't have many back to school nights.
Yep. You guys are seeing it. This is all what I want. This is all what I want to accomplish. You guys are seeing it. Now, your job is to make it happen, right? So keep donating that candy, right? I got one case or one cart full, whatever, one of those Costco carts. I got one full. I need more. I got about 14, 15 teachers signed up to do their cars. We're going to do it right here up in the parking lot, the blacktop, you know, along the grass right there. They're going to set up their trunks. They're going to decorate them, and we're going to let you guys in, and you guys can come and stop by each station and, you know, chat with your teacher and grab some candy and keep it moving.
What day is that going to be on?
That is, it'll be October 25th. I want to say from 5 to 6 p.m.
Okay.
Did you say we could come in our Halloween costume?
Yes, make sure it's school appropriate because it's still a school activity. So make sure you are still in dress code, no weapons, no blood, please, no masks.
Okay.
How many students are in 7th or 8th grade that you're still talking or friends with, and just because you're chill like that?
Well, I'm not friends with anybody, right? I'm still a teacher here, and
I have no friends.
yeah, you still are beneath me, but everybody, basically anybody that's gonna stop by and say hi. I mean, you guys know how it goes. You can come by the passing period. Oh, Mr. Hill, can I run your board? Mr. Hill, can I tell you about this? Mr. Hill. And I'm there and I'll listen, right? As long as it doesn't interfere with you going late to class, right? Or being out too long, right? We still got rules, right? I will talk to everybody and anybody.
So you remember when I was in 6th grade, those 8th graders would come in? Can I do that?
No.
Why not?
Guys, you already come in. Or actually, I'm already out the door by the time you get there, huh? I'm right there by the rail.
Usually I only visit you like when the day ends or when the day starts.
Okay, that's a good thing. Keep it that way. That's how it should be.
And with that is going to be the end of this segment of our episode. Thank you so much for joining us yet again. Hopefully we could do this another year in a row. Different people, different episode. And yeah, thank you for joining us on Eagle Time.
Thank you for having me. Every eagle, every day, every seat. Is that how it goes?
Nope.
Every seat, every day.
Yeah, there you go. You guys know every seat.
It's Eagle Time.
It's Eagle Time.
Welcome to the third segment of our podcast. Today, our guest is Mr. Vargas and two extra guests. Thank you for joining us. All right, so our first question today is going to be, what are your responsibilities as a security guard?
So I have a lot of responsibilities in terms of my job as a whole. So either keeping you guys safe, keeping you guys out of trouble, making sure anything on the outside is okay. You guys are good to go, good to leave the school, and good to enter. And yeah, just keeping you guys safe, I would say.
Does that get hard sometimes?
Yeah, it can be, just because, you know, you guys are middle schoolers, so sometimes you guys don't listen, but in general, I would say, in general, it's mostly good, but yeah, it has its moments.
What's your favorite thing about your job?
My favorite thing about my job?
Yeah.
Probably just interacting with you guys. You know, you guys are very funny. You guys have a lot to say about the school and a lot to say about just like everything in general. So yeah, just interacting.
Well, speaking of like interacting around the school, that's like creating a more positive atmosphere for like the kids. But how do you create a more like a safe one?
Oh, a safe one. Probably just, I think just being present, you know? I think the same way, like, you know, if your parents are driving, they see a cop down the road, they'll always slow down for a cop. So just being present out there, just being like able to like to see me, I think just, yeah, I'll be able to keep you guys safe, knowing that like you have someone there to stop whatever's trouble's about to happen.
So, what do you do to make sure there's no like unauthorized personnel on campus? Have you ever had to deal with that before?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Usually, if either the office or somebody on the outside sees somebody that's like not supposed to be here, they'll obviously radio me. I'll get the call, tell me exactly where the person's at, and then as soon as I go out, I always try to be cautious, just because if somebody is not supposed to be here on the campus, usually they're probably like, I would say, kind of cautious themselves, just because they know wherever they're at, they're not supposed to be there. And obviously, they see me in a uniform, they're gonna be extremely like cautious about that. So
like they're intimidated.
yeah, sometimes they can be intimidated, sometimes they can be scared, and yeah, but most of the time it's gone pretty good. I'm here, so I should show you enough.
Have any of them ever like threatened you? Or, like,
Um,
harmed you?
Not that I can remember, no. 'Cause usually most of the time they're good and they just leave. So
It's just like those people like what?
yeah, it would mainly be them. So, and I try to like be calm with them, be friendly, because you know, obviously, like most of the time they're not right in the head. So I try to keep my distance and just stay safe. You know.
Well, for our two guests here, this whole podcast episode is all about how you've adapted to this new school year.
Mhm.
So you're in seventh grade?
Yeah.
How have you adapted to seventh grade?
I would say okay. Like I'm not too used to it, but I think I'll eventually get used to it.
And you're starting at 8?
Yes, I'm saying it.
All right, how have you adapted to that?
It's been alright. Kind of got scared when the school year started. Changes and stuff.
Okay. Well, again, for Mr. Vargas, our next question that the people want to hear is mostly about what training and certifications you need to become.
Oh man. So in general, it's mostly easy. Just the requirements that I had to pass, which is being 18. And the first test was um it was just a knowledge test, really. It was kind of like giving you scenarios about what you would do in that scenario. So like it can be like, oh, a parent comes into the school and acting all crazy and acting all irritated. Like, what would you do? So that I had to pass like at least a 90 or 80%. So that was the first test. Second test was a physical test, which is an obstacle course I had to complete in like 1 minute, and it involved like running around this whole like little area that had like little obstacles. I had to jump over. I had to jump over a 6-foot fence. I had to carry this body bag. It was like 165 pounds. I had to drag it across, and then it was like and at the end there was like a little dash at the end. I had to like full blown run at it.
So like the typical things they do like at the military.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, you can say it like that. Yeah, it was just all cramped up in that little space. So you had to do all that. Yeah, it was very, very cool though.
So, what about your just like overall day-to-day routine?
Day-to-day routine? I would say it's simple. You know, I'm always out there. I'm always outside just in case. Always helping out with PE whenever I can, just because, you know, sometimes people using the restroom, they're not supposed to be in the PE class. And whenever they're using the restrooms, I try to like give them time to like use it and then try to kick them out. But yeah, just being outside, trying to help out as much as I can, getting kids where they're supposed to be. And yeah.
So Mr. Vargas, well, who do you usually collaborate with or regularly talk to in the school to make sure we're safe, and also law enforcement agencies?
I'll say law enforcement wise, I don't really interact with them as much. Maybe here and there, I'll get like a few emails there. They'll tell me like, they'll just update me just about school stuff, but
Like parties or like
yeah, they're like just be random emails. But in general, like I would say I'll mainly just talk to the rec aides, talk to PE, you know, anything student wise. Like say if a student like got irritated, or be on the lookout for a certain student that might cause trouble. Mainly interact with them just in case so I can be always aware of that.
You have any small talk with any of the teachers?
Oh yeah, for sure. Always, every day, man. Try to have a conversation or two because always outside and it'll kind of get boring. But yeah, always.
Have you ever worked at any other schools?
Yeah. So when I first started this job, I worked at Royal Valley for about, I'll say 3 months. And school was a trip just because, man, you're dealing with high schoolers and practically most of them are like adults. So like my second day on the job, I had to go chase a kid around the whole school because he didn't want to get searched. And yeah, stopping fights like almost every week. Very stressful.
Was your second day?
Yeah, my second day on the job, like I wasn't even in uniform. I was still in my dressy clothes, my polo, my jeans. Yeah, and I still had to go chase him, but
Would you say dealing with the high school is a lot different than dealing with the middle school?
oh yeah, for sure. Just because I would say the high schoolers, most of them are smart, you know? Just because they're dealing with adults all the time, and when they see us, they mainly think of us as officers themselves, so they tend to get like either intimidated or feel like they need to like have a sense of power over us. But yeah, like there's just maturity level is like way up there. Like they know a lot more stuff, and they know like a lot of stuff to do in order to like get away with stuff. Yeah.
Do you like high school or like middle school?
Middle school, just because it's definitely a lot more chiller.
Yeah.
I can relax when I come to work, and yeah, high school when I worked at a Royal, it was stressful.
I can imagine that the campus was also much bigger.
Oh yeah, the campus was much bigger, and yeah, walking, I had to walk a whole lot more, and like yeah,
It didn't give you the bike you use now?
no, they did.
Mm.
So yeah, the bikes, I'd only use them during lunch, like I do now. Like I only bring it out during lunch, but yeah, the biking was a lot more intense just because it's a big campus.
Before I started like on your bike, like through the hallways and stuff.
Yeah.
Now like I got intimidated. I was like,
Mhm.
like, what if something happens?
Yeah, and that's mainly just because like it's a lot faster to bike than to run.
Yeah.
And if something were to happen, like say if I'm in a C building and something's happening down in the locker room, I don't want to have to run, and then somebody sees me and like oh damn, like what's happening? I'm better go over there too.
Yeah.
Like biking's a lot more like calmer than just running. It's a lot faster too. So
Did they teach you how to like de-escalate violent situations?
Yeah.
Or, like
Mhm.
assaults between students?
Yeah, so a lot of the times, like when it comes to students, say like I say like I got PE. Let's say two students are arguing. That's easy. I can just go up there and be like, hey, you guys like calm down, try to be that voice to be easy with them. But and then like in some scenarios where the kids are already like putting hands on each other, pushing each other, that's when I have to get physical. I have to be, grabbing them, trying to tell them like, hey, calm down. And try to be like that voice, let them know that I'm there to protect them. Yeah.
Have you done that in the high school you were in previously?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like most of the time, I don't even get a word in just because I have to stop it so quick. But in general, I try to be, calm with the students. I try to tell them like, hey, like you're okay. Like I'm there. Like you can calm down now. But yeah, a lot of the times I had to de-escalate a lot of things. But yeah.
Well, that seems to about wrap up the majority of our questions. So for our final question, I just want to leave it on a positive note and ask, what has been your favorite memory working here so far?
Favorite memory? Besides like every day when you guys come up to me and talk to me about different things, but I would say, oh man, I forgot what the event is called, but it's when I think they only do it for the sixth graders, but it's when a whole bunch of sixth graders they come in and they just bring up a whole bunch of snacks and food, and all they do is just play all day. I forgot what that event's
Field
called.
day?
I think it is field day. Yeah, there you go. That was fun, just because I got a lot of food out of it. I was just keeping it all in my office, but yeah, that was a fun day.
And then for our two guests, what has been one of your guys' favorite memories here at Rodriguez?
Probably going to dances with my friends because they're the ones who usually keep me like actually wanting to go to the dances.
Well, I think it would be sixth grade biological illustrations.
How many dances have you guys came to?
I've probably only gone to a couple because I came last year around October from elementary.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, all of you guys, and that was Eco Time.
Thank you. Thank you guys.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right.
Eagle time. You hear it? It's coming. Eagle time, eagle time, eagle time, eagle. Eagle time, eagle time, eagle time, eagle time, eagle time.